Hello, my name is Jim DeMeo and this is A Course in Miracles. This evening I'm reading from Lesson 38. There's nothing my holiness cannot do. Your holiness reverses all the laws of the world. It is beyond every restriction of time, space, and distance, and of any limit of any kind. Your holiness is totally unlimited in its power because it establishes you as a son of God, at one with the mind of his Creator. So God created us at one in its mind. We're the extension of God's mind. This is where the holiness comes from. Through your holiness, the power of God is made manifest. Through your holiness, the power of God is made available. And there's nothing the power of God cannot do. Your holiness, then, can remove all pain, can end all suffering, and can solve all problems. It can do so in connection with yourself and with anyone else. It is equal in its power to help anyone because it's equal in its power to save anyone. You may wonder, how can this possibly be and why don't we possibly use this? Well, it can be because it's God's will, and in our very nature, being an extension of God, it only makes sense. Why don't we use it? Because we don't believe it. That's why we're practicing it in this lesson. If you are holy, so is everything God created. You are holy because all things he created are holy. And all things he created are holy because you are. In today's exercises, we will apply the power of your holiness to all problems, difficulties, or suffering in any form you happen to think of, in yourself or in someone else. We make no distinctions because there are no distinctions. In the 4 longer practice periods, each preferably to last a full 5 minutes, repeat the idea for today. There's nothing my holiness cannot do. Close your eyes and then search your mind for any sense of loss or unhappiness of any kind as you see it. Try to make as little distinction as possible between a situation that is difficult for you and one that is difficult for someone else. Identify the situation specifically and also the name of the person concerned. Use this form in applying the idea for today. In the situation involving, fill in the blank, in which I see myself, there's nothing that my holiness cannot do. In the situation involving, fill in the blank, in which, fill in the blank, sees himself, there's nothing my holiness cannot do. From time to time you may want to vary this procedure and add some relevant thoughts of your own. You might like, for example, to include thoughts such as, there's nothing my holiness cannot do because the power of God lies in it. Mind is power. Energy is controlled by mind. Introduce whatever variations appeal to you, but keep the exercises focused on the theme. There's nothing my holiness cannot do. The purpose of today's exercises is to begin to instill in you a sense that you have dominion over all things because of what you are. You might recall this was said in Genesis. In the frequent, shorter applications, apply the idea in its original form, unless a specific problem concerning you or someone else arises or comes to mind. In that event, use the more specific form in applying the idea to it. Practice bringing your mind to bear on ending suffering.